Continue in Shmuel Aleph, Perek Chaf Vav. We're now in Pasuk Tes Vav. After David takes Shul's spear and pitcher of water, jug of water, he goes up to a very distant mountain and he screams out, calls out to everybody, and he criticizes Avner for beginners. What do you have to respond to your claiming that I still want to kill Shaul? We brought down from Chazal that still Avner had criticisms. And we explained, just ended up by saying the three different incidents where Hashem showed you the value of the spider, the value of the crazy person, and the value of the flea, mosquito, whatever. So clearly David, again, was the recipient of Hashem's divine providence. So now David continues in Tesvav. Yomer David al Avner, and David speaks to Avner. Hello, Ish Ato. Behold, aren't you a man? Umi chamoch beYisrael, and who is like you amongst the Jewish people? And why did you not guard your master, the king? Because someone from the people came to destroy the king, your servant. So Malbim explains over here that
king your Lord.
What?
Not the king your servant. The king your Lord.
To destroy your master. Thank you. The king your master. Thank you. So Malbim explains that we had mentioned yesterday that if someone is calling out to a general, then first he calls out to his assistant, and he's calling to the king, and he first calls out to the general. So who did he want? So David responded, well, yeah, normally if somebody wants to speak to the general for something, he doesn't speak to him directly, and he speaks to an underling. It's only if it's a private discussion, but not if it's something that's of national importance, something that pertains to the kingdom, or some kind of proper behavior that is involving over here. So then he'll go directly to the general. And therefore, this was directly related to the general himself. That's why he's calling out to him. And he's saying that I'm calling out to you because there's two important issues we have to discuss. Number one thing is clear, that the camp was not protected well. That a stranger, was able to come in while the king was asleep and take his spear from right next to his head. This is a very grave injustice. So the question is, who's at fault? Is it either the general's at fault? They didn't put any guards to watch the king, right? Or even if he did put up guards, then the guards were negligent that they didn't stay at their post. And therefore they deserve a great punishment. And therefore it's upon you to punish them. They didn't do what they had to do. So either way, the issue is related to you and national security. Either you were negligent or they were negligent. So he says, hello, Ishata. You're the man. You're the man. It's upon the responsibility to watch the king. So either you were negligent or maybe the others were negligent. But mi kamocha v'Yisrael, who's like you amongst the Jewish people in terms of protecting the king? And therefore you'll have to punish the negligent ones who weren't keeping their post. Right? So either why did you not watch the king? Or why have you allowed that you have guards that are not such guards that allowed somebody to come and destroy and kill the king? Either way, you have not done your job. Tezayin. And also, lo tov hadover hazeh asher asisa. And what you're doing is not good. Chai Hashem, I swear by Hashem's life. Ki b'nei maves atem. You are people who are deserving of death. Why? Asher lo shemartem al adonechem, that you did not watch your master, al Mashiach Hashem, the one who is anointed by Hashem. And now they're all wondering, like, what are you talking about, man? And now, Re'ei, see, where is the spear of the king? Where is that pitcher of water which was by his head? And obviously he's showing it to them. He says it's not next to the king, it's over here. Right. And so the Malbim elaborates a bit. He says, don't think your sin was, you didn't do anything wrong, because, not protecting the king, in other words, he said, well, he didn't do anything. No, not protecting the king, that is doing something wrong, right? And then even though we didn't protect him, it was like, it was a shev al taset. They didn't do it. Wasn't an action, right? But the fact that something so terrible could come out, it's like the worst action, right? And therefore, either somebody's supposed to die. So either these people, the guards, weren't watching properly. So they're b'nei mavis. They're supposed to get killed. So, and the king was in a great danger. Okay, Yud Zayin. Yaker Shul is called David, and Shul recognizes the voice of David. Vayomer, and he says, Hakol chazeh b'ni David. Is this your voice, my son David? Again, calls him my son. Vayomer David, Koli Adoni Hamelech. It is my voice, my master, the king. Yud Ches. Vayomer, and he says, Lama ze Adoni rodef acharei avdo. Why is my master running after his servant? Ki me asisi, for what have I done? Uma biyodi ra, and what evil is in my hands? Meaning to say, me asisi, what have I done against the king? Uma biyodi ra, and what else? What other things could I maybe have done? What is it? Why are you so upset with me?
It's a repetition of the cave episode.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's a little bit softer. And you still have to try to give musar as many times as is necessary. But we'll see. You'll see. We'll see how this turns out a little bit over here. It's interesting. The Medrash says from this pasuk, but that there's a certain derech eretz, is that when you're rebuking, when you have to rebuke a group, you rebuke the smaller one of the group. And when you look to make appeasement, you go to the greater one of the group. And that's what David did. When he said the words of comfort, the more pleasant words, which are coming now, as you'll see, he spoke to the king. And when he spoke the harder words, he said them to Avner. To Avner, he said, it's not good what you're doing, etc., etc. Here, David's saying, what have I done? Right? So, the commentary and the Musar Nevi'im brings down, why is he speaking so strongly against Avner? Right, so we've already explained one reason why he's spoken so strongly against Avner, because he keeps turning the story a bad way. But you can always debate it. David's saying one way, and Avner's saying, it's not true. Avner really doesn't believe that David's a good guy, whatever. But David says, no. I'm going to prove to you that what you're doing is totally wrong. Why? So he says, you're saying, well, why are you chasing after me? Because, listen, we have to protect the king. Right? You're a rebel, you have to protect the king. So you have to protect the king, so how'd you let a stranger just walk right into the camp and almost kill the king? Right? So therefore, the fact you're chasing after me is not from a love from Shaul. Because if you loved Shaul that much, you would have had him protected more. But rather, it's a jealousy over me. Again, all these guys are jealous of David. And it's coming out in this story here. So that's why David speaks so strongly against Avner. While the king, there's really nothing much to say, as you'll see shortly in the next two psukim. Why there's not much to say. Yites. V'ata ish mano adoni hamelech es divrei avdo. And now, please listen, my master, the king, the words of his servant. He's saying, Im Hashem hesis chavi, is a very difficult pasuk. Yorach mincha. That if Hashem has seduced you against me, then he should smell the mincha offering, the korban. V'im b'nei ha'adam, and if it's people who are seducing you, arui yuhem lifnei Hashem, they should be cursed before Hashem. Ki gershuni hayom, because you have driven me away today. Mistapech benachos Hashem, to be part of the portion, to be gathered in the portion of the heritage of Hashem. Leimor, saying to me as you're chasing me out, Lech avod Elohim acherim, go serve foreign gods. So the Malbim explains he's saying that it's interesting. The word hasischa, sasis, the word mesis. A mesis is a person who takes Jews away from the religion. So the Rambam gets into a little bit of a vocabulary discussion. There's different words of saying that you have seduced someone or coerced someone. You have the verb pisa, the verb hesi, and the verb hesis. So this one is hesis, trying to seduce or persuade. It's trying to persuade someone by virtue of the fact that they have something to gain by this. So in other words, so he's saying if someone has seduced you into thinking that it's for your benefit to kill me, so someone seduced you somehow, you're being seduced to doing this. So either it comes from one or two places. It could be from Hashem. Hashem has put in your mind to think this way. So if Hashem has done this, then Yarach Mincha, then Hashem should smell the Mincha. Now, we know when you normally bring a korban, a Mincha always accompanies a korban afterwards. Usually it follows a korban. You bring a korban has a Mincha with it. And you bring the korban, then you bring the Mincha. So he's saying, I've already brought a korban olah, when I've already had one chance to kill you and I didn't kill you. And that was already my offering to Hashem. Now I've added a mincha offering, because I've had a second chance to kill you and I haven't killed you. Right? So that's what he's saying, that the first time when I could have killed you and I didn't kill you and I just cut the corner off your clothing, so that's like I already brought a korban. Because you have to remember, what is a korban? A korban is a sacrifice. A korban means you're being moser nefesh. You're willing to show that what has happened to this korban should happen to me. Korban in the deepest sense means I want to get so close to you, I'm willing to make sacrifices in life. So how do we give korbanos nowadays? We don't have korbanos. The answer is, no, we make sacrifices. Things we give up for Hashem, that's a korban. So that's what David HaMelech was saying. I gave one korban already. I gave the korban when I didn't kill you the first time. Now I have a second chance to bring a second korban. So this is all considered righteousness to me, and Hashem will smell the korban, be a reich nichach, will be a pleasant smell to Hashem. Hashem is pleased with this. So that's all. If Hashem is really totally behind, I mean, of course it's behind everything, but if it's more Hashem is the reason why you've been seduced, Hashem can put it in your mind. It's true, Hashem can put all kinds of ideas in people's mind, as we've learned in the Shabbos morning class. The whole idea of jealousy, we said, is what? It's not a logical thing. Hashem has put a nature of human beings, it's the nature of a human being to be jealous, even though it doesn't make any sense. Now it's our job to overcome that. But anyway, so he's saying if Hashem is really just totally the only one, so I'm very happy to give korbanos. But in addition to that, but if people are the ones, if it's Bnei Adam, if these are the ones that are seducing you, then they should be cursed before Hashem. What does he mean to say? I could be moichel them on the pain that they've given me. Right? I can't be moichel them. But I can't be moichel on them on how they are affecting my avodas Hashem and how it's going to affect Hashem, really. In other words, in the Bein Adam Lachavero part, the between me and man part, I can forgive them. But the problem is, what they've done has gone way beyond the Bein Adam Lachavero. It's now going Bein Adam Lamakom, between me and Hashem. As you'll see, he says, why? Because now you have chased me away from this land. And we'll talk about this a lot more in a minute. You've chased me away from Eretz Yisrael, because now I have no choice, but I have to leave. I have to leave because I can no longer trust Shul. He's got you guys got him under your thumb. No matter what I do, no matter how much I prove it, so clearly I've proved it. And I proved it twice. And both times he's not accepting this. So with such a chevra of advisors, there's no way this guy's going to get out of this mess. And therefore, I've been forced to be driven out from being part of this group of Klal Yisrael. In the Nachlas Hashem, that I'm able to fulfill the mitzvahs of the land of Eretz Yisrael. And now I am in Chutz La'aretz under, which really is tantamount to serving other gods, which we'll elaborate in a moment. We'll elaborate on all this in a moment. Let's see now, what else do we have?
So David's sacrifice was the fact that he did not kill Saul. That was his sacrifice.
Yes, because obviously the thing to do would kill him. That'd be the best thing.
Yeah.
If he killed him, everything would be fine.
He sacrificed
And that's the idea. You know, people say we don't have korbanos anymore. We have lots of korbanos. So lots of times to do korbanos.
Yeah.
When a person hurts your feelings, to not respond to it, that's a korban. There's so many korbanos a person can bring. It's like you brought up. That's really what Hashem wants, because when you do that, that shows you close to Hashem. You want to get close to Hashem. You want to do the will of Hashem. Now, we'll see. The Radak, it says, it's not necessarily only referring to the future that he's going to leave Eretz Yisrael, but he's left many times already. You recall he went already to Achish once when he feigned his madness. He went to Moab to drop off his family over there. So he's had to leave a couple times. And now he's leaving again, and he has no idea how long he is going to leave. So one more pasuk just to finish what David has to say over here. And now, al yipol dami arza mineged pnei Hashem. My blood should not fall to the ground before the face of Hashem. Ki yotza melech Yisrael levakesh es parosh echad. For the king of Israel has gone out to seek out one flea. Kasher yirdov hakori barim. It's not exactly clear what this next part means, but like it's a type of a bird.
Partridge.
Like he chases after a bird in the mountains. It seems like, the kings would, do their royal thing because they have nothing better to do with their lives. And they go hunting for birds. So you're seeking me out like a flea, like a king seeks out partridges. It's like you feel it's like a royal pastime over here. But there's a lot of explanation, but it's the same idea. Like the fox hunt, all these things, right? So now David says, now that the Bible explains, now that I've decided that I'm going to leave Eretz Yisrael, so now my blood won't fall because you won't be able to kill me. Right? That's a simple shot. Say my blood won't fall to the ground because I'm going to leave. And he's saying because the king has gone after me, because I have to go, because you're chasing around after me, right? Like in this way. And now it's like Rambam says maybe a little bit different. Kasher Yirdov, he's chasing the Koreh. The Koreh can maybe be himself. He's the one who's calling from the mountain. It's not clear what, many ways to refer to Koreh. Koreh could be referring to the person who's calling out. I'm calling out. I'm staying in the mountains. I'm calling from a distance. And you're chasing this one, just like you're chasing a fly. So Mom says, just like you're chasing a fly, someone's chasing a fly. Can't get rid of a fly. So then you're going after the one who's called to you from the mountains. The others explain differently. He's considering himself, you're chasing like a fly. But these guys, as kings would chase after their birds that they're looking to kill. So it's all similar ideas. So the Mitzvah says, a king will always, try to kill a fly and go from place to place, just like he has pleasure trying to catch this bird, etc., etc. All these things. The Radak adds on the words "Ayipol dami arza," that if I should get killed, then Hashem should not let my blood flow in vain, and He should take revenge. And He should take revenge for all those who are putting my life in danger at every moment. Okay. Now the main attraction to this pasuk is the Gemara in Ksuvos. However, there's still a Gemara in Brachos we have to talk about before we get to the Gemara in Ksuvos. Gemara in Brachos is something very interesting. On the words, if Hashem has seduced you. So Gemara says, Hashem said to David, you're calling me a seducer? Calling me a seducer? That I'm seducing people to do Averos? You know what? I'm going to make you stumble in something that even little kids know. For example, we know you're not allowed to count people. Right? When you count them, you count via an indirect method of counting coins and this and that. And you went later on, and you went and counted the Jewish people straight away. Right? And therefore it says, so right away after Hashem said this, Vayamod Satan al Yisrael, and the Satan came against the Jewish people. And terrible calamity and great hunger happened, and many people died. So the pasuk in Shmuel basis, Vayises as David bahem leimor, and he seduced David, as it were, saying, "Go count the Jewish people." And once he counted them, they got into all kinds of problems. And he's saying there's something a little child knows. So like Hashem was sort of upset with David. You're saying I seduce people? Look, you did a mistake. It was a simple mistake. It says in the Torah not to count. You went and counted. So we'll see what was he upset about. So the Musar Navim explains. So when David said that Hashem has seduced you, it appears that a good, wholesome person, is not worthy to do a sin, and the fact that it is sin is because Hashem seduced him into it, or he's been influenced by other people that are so bad he does this. So it almost as if the guy had no free will choice. You're making it look like he had no free will choice. So therefore Hashem showed him that a person can do a sin even if something that's straight out against the Torah without don't be so shocked, right? Because you're going to transgress, and even little children know you're not supposed to do this, right? And that could bring the worst to a person. So again, it's not clear what's Hashem so upset about. And it seems what he's upset about is you're not giving Shul the responsibility he's supposed to have. You should be blaming Shul more. Yes, even if I seduced him, but people make mistakes. They have to be called on it. And that's all. And you'll see you're going to make even a bigger mistake. The Shul's mistake, where is it written in the Torah he did something wrong? Going after David. Where did it say in the Torah it was wrong? It's very hard to put your finger on it in an overt way. Yeah, he was makabel lashon hara, but on the other hand, you have to protect the kingdom. It's a gray area. Although, listen, logic would dictate that you should leave David alone, and he doesn't. So he said, Hashem has seduced you, and this and now this seduced you. Almost as if he has no responsibility. He's going to say, that's not right. He was wrong. So I'm going to show you. You're going to fall in even a simpler way. Where Mamish says you're going to Mamish go against the Torah. Again, what's the lesson for David to pick up? We'd have to think about it a little bit more. I mean, I don't know why the Gemara doesn't bring the story with Bathsheba. I know it's bringing this story. Bathsheba was also clearly over there. Hashem seduced him. Hashem clearly gave him a bigger Yetzer Hara than was necessary over there. But this mistake over here, it's like, in either way, it says Vayamot Satan al Yisrael. Vayasa says David. He kind of seduces David, so he kind of gets punished. You felt that Shaul was seduced. I'm going to make you seduced. But either way, the person's still responsible for it. Okay, need to think a little bit more about that when we come to another time. But the most important one is the Gemara in Ksuvos. That was to talk about because that is a very famous Gemara, and many people bring this as a very important proof. So let's read to you a little bit from the Gemara. I'm sorry, Ksuvos. I meant Ksuvos. I meant Ksuvos. My notes are all wrong here. Okay. Gemara in Ksuvos, Daf Kuf Yud Amud Beis. Gemara says like this: Tana Rabbanan, Le'olam Yador Adam be'Eretz Yisrael. A person should always live in Eretz Yisrael. Afilu be'ir sheruba ovdei kachavim, even in a city that has a majority of non-Jews in it. Val Yador b'chutz ha'aretz, and he should not live outside of Eretz Yisrael. Shekol Hador be'Eretz Yisrael, because anyone who lives in Eretz Yisrael, Doma Kemi Sheyesh Lo Eloka. He's like someone who has a God. They call Hador b'chutz ha'aretz, someone who lives outside of Eretz Yisrael, Doma Kemi She'ein Lo Eloka. He's like a person who has no God. How do we know this? Shenemar says in the pasuk, "Loseis lachem es Eretz Canaan lios lachem le'elokim." Hashem says, "I'm giving you the land of Eretz Canaan, so that I should be for you for a God." So clearly, those two psukim say, "I'm giving you the land of Eretz Yisrael. I want you to live in Eretz Yisrael. Why? So I should be your God." So Hashem being your God depends on you living in Eretz Yisrael. If you're not in Eretz Yisrael, then Hashem is not your God. That's what Gemara says. One second, let's just make sure we don't skip anything over here. Yeah. Now we're asked a question. What are you talking about? Now, it's interesting. Okay, anyway, we'll see. A lot of people quote this line, the pro living in Eretz Yisrael people quote this line, but they don't quote the whole Gemara. I'm not taking away what the Gemara is saying, but there is a little bit more. That's a little bit more to get a better appreciation of what that statement meant. It says it's like you have no God. So Gemara asks, do you mean to say someone who doesn't live in Eretz Yisrael has no God? How can you say that? You're going to say the guy doesn't believe in Hashem? Right? So, and the commentaries explain, that the relationship between Hashem and Jewish people is not conditionally, absolutely, only on the Jews living in Eretz Yisrael, because Rav Sadia Gaon says in Amunas V'Deos, he says the Jewish people as a nation have survived by virtue of their Torah, not its land or its government. Right? And meaning to say that Hashem is still the God of Jewish people, even if they are in Golus, because the bris between us lasts forever. So how do you say it? Doesn't believe in Hashem? So Gemara modifies it. Ela lomar lecha, but rather to teach you, kalador b'chutz ha'aretz, anyone who lives in chutz ha'aretz, ki'ilu oved avodas kocha. It's like you're worshiping idols. That's what it means. You could have a God and worship idols. Now where's the proof to that? And now we come to our pasuk. V'chein b'David hu omer. So it says by David as well. Because David said this pasuk, Kir gershuni hayom mistapech b'nachas Hashem. For they have driven me away this day from attaching myself to the heritage of Hashem. Le'mor, to say, Lech avod Elohim acherim. Go serve other gods. Just quoted that pasuk. Now Gemara asks, V'chimi amar lo David, Lech avod Elohim acherim. Who told David to worship other gods? Nobody said he should worship other gods. But they did force him to go out of Eretz Yisrael. Salalom alach, but rather to teach you. Kol ador b'chutz la'aretz ki'ilu oved avodas kachavim. That shows that anyone who dwells outside of Eretz Yisrael is like he's worshiping gods. That's what he's saying. That's, in other words, they're driving me out of the land. So if you're driving me out of the land, so that means to say, it's as if I'm worshiping other gods. So that's why he's saying it. You're making me worship other gods. Because there's an idea, if you don't live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like you're Oved Avodah Zarah. Okay, so that's just the Gemara. Right, hang on, there's lots of commentary over here. But that's clearly what the Gemara is saying. So it's like he is worshiping other gods. Okay, so first of all, say anyone who quotes this Gemara should really quote that part of the Gemara, not the first part of the Gemara, number one. And we'll see, there's a lot more still to go here. So what does it mean that if you live outside of Eretz Yisrael, it's like you're worshiping other gods? Now, clearly, we know in the Teichacha, in Parshas Kisavo, it says, as the punishment, Hashem will scatter the Jews amongst all the peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And then it says in that Torah, and there you will serve the gods of others whom you did not know. You were your forefathers. So there it's saying you'll worship idols. So Rashi over there, based on the Targum, says doesn't mean the Jews will actually worship idols, but it means the Jews in the diaspora will have to pay taxes and the like to the pagan priests. And as we already learned in the Rambam, you have to pay to support them. You don't have a choice. They throw you out if you don't pay the tax. You're forced to pay a tax. That is supporting Avodah Zarah. So it's like you're serving Avodah Zarah. That's one interpretation. According to the Rambam and the Meiri, he says a person living outside Eretz Yisrael is considered to be engaging in idol worship because he's dwelling amongst and associating with idol worshippers. And the Meiri writes, he says, generally speaking, the environs outside of Eretz Yisrael, is a permanent home of the pagans, while in Eretz Yisrael, typically, it's the home of those who possess Torah wisdom and fear of Hashem. And if you live in an idolatrous country, it's conducive to behavior that will be against the Torah, right? So, and if he lives outside of Eretz Yisrael, even if it's a Jewish town, he can't help but acclimate himself to those surroundings. The biggest proof is we don't work on Sunday, and as Rabbi Victor Miller says, that's the biggest proof that Jews are Oved Avodah Zarah. The Torah says you have to work 6 days a week and you rest on the seventh. Not we work 5 days a week and you rest on 2 days. And that whole Sunday, has destroyed Shabbos. Has destroyed the Shabbos. Because people now, have to rest on Shabbos to be able to do what they have to do on Sunday. Right? But, and people feel Sunday is a holiday. If you feel that Sunday's a special day, you're not a proper Jew. Shabbos is there's only one special day of the week, and that's Shabbos. And the fact that we daven at 8 o'clock, all these things. The only reason I do it is because I don't know how many people would come at 7 o'clock. I tried it. It's just I can't. There's only so much you can do. But that's a terrible thing. You're davening later on a Sunday just because you don't have to go to work.
So why do we do it, really?
Because you'll see, no one will show up.
Even the yeshivas. Even the yeshivas start a little bit.
No, the yeshivas only because they have to drive them there. If you sleep that's only for technical reasons, because you have to drive them.
But you still feel it.
They have to daven at the same time. They still have to daven at the same time. If they don't start the yeshiva any later, the class still starts at almost the same time. That's just terrible. In a regular sleepover yeshiva, the same time. Yeshiva we davened every day 7:30, every day.
That's right.
Shabbos later, 7:45. Okay, but that was it. But so you can't help but adopting their ways. Even if you're religious, you still adopt some of the pagan ways. All these ideas, putting candles on birthday cakes. Where is that written in the Torah? Blowing out candles. It's mamash not a Jewish thing at all. It's not a Jewish thing at all. So we do all these non-Jewish things, and we think it's proper things, right? So that's what happens when you live outside of Eretz Yisrael. While you'd assume in Eretz Yisrael it would be different, right? He says, by contrast, living within a Torah-observant country exerts the opposite pull upon the person's soul. He enjoys this benefit even if most of the townspeople are idolaters. Now, the Meiri points out that the Gemara speaks of Eretz Yisrael as a community of God-fearing, because that's usually the case. But then the Meiri says, but any country in which wisdom and fear of sin are common will have the same status as Eretz Yisrael regarding the decision of where to live.
Any country, regardless whether the Jews in it or not, that's what it meant.
Any country in which wisdom and the fear of sin are common.
But that doesn't mean Jewish people live there.
Well, it would obviously be with Jews. Obviously with Jews.
Wow.
That's what it means. We'll see in a minute. You'll see in a minute. We'll have to bring a few more Gemaras. Just hang on. And the Rambam we know in Hilchos Deis, we learned already, says it's very important to live amongst upright people because man is very much influenced by their deeds. If you recall that Rambam, a person will always act like the people of his country will act, and therefore it behooves a person to associate with righteous people, sit with righteous people, learn from their deeds, and distance himself from these other people. And remember, he said, if the country you live in, where the norms of behavior are immoral, and the citizens don't walk in the right place, you have to leave such a place, even to live in a cave if necessary. Right? So you live in countries where the influence is staggering, you have to leave such a place. So it all depends on the places where you're living at. Now, I'm not done. Now, let's go to another Gemara, one page further on. And this is a Gemara that none of the pro-living in Israel people quote for some odd reason. Just another page on. Amar Yehuda Mishmuel, Kishem she'asar lotzeis me'eretz Yisrael l'Bavel. Just like there's a prohibition to leave Eretz Yisrael to go to Bavel, kach asar lotzeis mi Bavel l'shar ratzos. You're not allowed to leave Bavel to go to other countries. And Rabbi Yosef says even from Pumbedisa to a place called Beikube. So what does that mean? But in other words, there is a prohibition, stamazoi, just to leave Eretz Yisrael. For no good reason, you're not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael. If there's good reasons, you can leave. Just like you can't leave Eretz Yisrael, you can't leave Bavel. So Bavel obviously has an exalted status too. So now Rashi says why? Because Bavel had a lot of yeshivas. They were constantly disseminating the teaching of Torah. And other Meforshim comment that besides that the abundant Torah study that took place in Bavel, most of the world's Jewish population lived at the time of the Gemara in Bavel. Now, the Chazon Ish writes the following. He says that Poland, where the yeshivas are established and the saintly Chavetz Chaim resides, along with other Torah luminaries and great men of spirit, has the status of Eretz Yisrael. And other countries have the status of lands outside of Eretz Yisrael in regard to leaving one to the other. Now, you shouldn't leave Poland. Poland was a real bastion of Torah learning. Shouldn't learn it. All right. And the main thing is being in a place of Torah. And that's the critical component over here.
Wouldn't the Chazon Ish say this?
I don't have the exact time. But it doesn't matter.
Even with the bastion of Torah, they were still killing Jews all the time. Even my father told me, Good Friday, they would stay in the house.
So they did in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, they killed Jews all the time.
But at least you're in Eretz Yisrael.
I can't use that as, that's not at least you're in Eretz Yisrael. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where are you going to get. Clearly, Poland, at the time of its greatness, had far more scholars than Eretz Yisrael had, without a question.
No, not denying that.
So this is the point he's trying to make over here. The point is, in a general sense, in all things being equal, Eretz Yisrael is going to be the place where the most Torah is going to be learned. That's important. But when Eretz Yisrael is not inhabited, or it's very weak in Torah, then other countries have a very important status. If you live in other countries that are disseminating Torah, that's a very important thing. At the end of the day, if you have to put one against the other, put learning Torah the best way possible versus living Eretz Yisrael, one against the other, Torah wins hands down. There's no question about it. The Jewish people survived because of the Torah, not because of Eretz Yisrael. We have survived being outside of Eretz Yisrael more than being in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Only because of the Torah. Without Torah, you're finished. And that biggest proof is, you see, that Jews in Eretz Yisrael who don't have Torah have no connection to Yiddishkeit. Not at all. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't live in Eretz Yisrael. I'm not getting into the issue of living in Eretz Yisrael. But you have to understand that when people are throwing around quotes, if you live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like you have no God. Live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like you worship Avodah Zarah. You can understand what he's talking about, what Gemara means. Yeah, if you live somewhere in a non-Torah community in Chutz La'aretz, that's a terrible thing. But it's only terrible insofar as that as opposed to living in a Torah community in Eretz Yisrael. Because the real point is,
still better off doing that.
The real point he's making is that in Eretz Yisrael, the assumption is when you're in Eretz Yisrael, you're in a Torah community. That's the whole point of the Gemara. You're in Eretz Yisrael, and you're therefore in a Torah community. Therefore, you shouldn't leave a Torah community. And you're right. If, let's say, the two Torah communities are exactly the same, you should live in Eretz Yisrael. But what if there's a big difference? You see, there were Jews who lived in Bavel. Great tzaddikim lived in Bavel and did not go back to Eretz Yisrael. Even when because the real Torah was in Bavel at this time. You have to be where the real Torah is. Right. So I'm just saying that there's a strong case to be made that if you're in a solid Torah environment and that is dictating your life and it's a good environment, you're learning positively, that has a lot of benefits. And I'm not going to get into the whole psak halacha, should you live in Eretz Yisrael now, should you not live in Eretz Yisrael now? There's a lot of discussion, but as it's relevant to the issue at hand here. Now you have to know, what's most interesting is let's go back to the original statement. If you don't live in Eretz, there's a lot of other sources. I'm just dealing with this source. And people throw this source around. If you don't live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like you have no God. So you see, that's a total distortion. If you just quote that line, you're distorting the Gemara. And people shouldn't do that. You want to bring other proofs? Bring other proofs. But really, what's the proof say? Really, it's not you don't have a God. It's like you worship idols. What do you mean it's like you worship idols? Already explained what that means. But what was the proof? The proof came from David HaMelech. What did David HaMelech do? He left Eretz Yisrael to go to Chutz La'aretz. That's the only context in which this proof was brought. It was not brought as someone who was born outside of Eretz Yisrael and did not make Aliyah. You understand? That was the proof. You were in Eretz Yisrael. So, obviously David had to leave because of his life.
That's right.
But if it wasn't for his life, that would have been sinful to leave Eretz Yisrael. Now, let's look exactly the case. You have to look exactly what the case was. If you don't look at the case to bring it comes out the whole statement is based on this story with David HaMelech.
Yeah.
So David HaMelech. That's what it's based on. Right? So David HaMelech left Eretz Yisrael, which had Torah, clearly, right? Wanted to go where? To go to the Plishtim. The Plishtim, there are 0 Jews in the land of the Plishtim. So who's he bringing? His 600 men? Okay, great. I don't think they were big scholars. Okay, he had Avyasar, Kohen Gadol, but he moved to a totally non-Jewish place. Well, something like that, that's like you're worshiping idols. How do you go from Eretz Yisrael that's filled with Torah to Butte, Montana, where there's no Yid? Right? So under that circumstance, you can clearly say, that's a guy who's like he's worshiping idols. You're going away from a place where you could serve Hashem with all these religious Jews, and the Jews are running the country according to Torah. Let's also add, the Jews were running the government according to Torah. To leave to a country that doesn't have any Jews at all. Now, for that, you can give them your proof. If you leave there, that's like you worship Avodah Zarah. To say you're born in a Torah community in Chutz La'aretz, and you haven't gone, you have no right to prove that the guy doesn't believe in a God and he worship idols. You can't make the proof more than what the Gemara brings it from. Right? Again, I'm not saying it's not a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael. I'm not saying that. I'm not getting into that issue. But to invoke and to make people feel bad, it's like you're worshiping idols. That already depends where they're living. So you're going to tell me that in Lakewood, New Jersey, where there's tens of thousands of people learning Torah, right? And it parallels any place in Eretz Yisrael, you're going to say it's like they're worshiping idols. And for many of them, it's a lot of, and they're not going around to the other parts of the country to ask for handouts to marry off their kids. Okay? So, and they may not have the same financial strains because you have a government in the United States that is friendlier to Torah learning than the government of Israel. I'm not talking about individuals in Israel. The government of the United States treats people learning yeshivas better than the government of Israel. Okay, you're living in a country where the government wants to just close down the yeshivas, where there's overt anti-Semitism in Eretz Yisrael to Torah Jews. I'm being very careful how I'm wording my statements. Not talking about the government.
How does the government of the United States?
Obama will give you welfare no matter who you are. He'll give you HUD and WIC. He'll pay your rent. He'll do all these things, no matter who you are. Black, white, yeshivish, doesn't matter. No questions asked. And that's the way many of them are able to live in Kola. And it's all kinds of government.
Live off the public purse to learn.
From the Goyim you can. We're talking about from tzedakah money. And that's what's happening. People living in Eretz Yisrael, they are living off of tzedakah purse mamish by all the people you see coming here.
I agree.
But that's from living in Eretz Yisrael. Again, I'm not saying they're wrong.
They're choosing, though.
I'm not saying they're wrong.
The government is
No, but the government shouldn't have to provide you to learn Torah.
I'm saying, so when you live in a government that's not supportive of the learning of Torah, you're literally living in a government that...
Yeshivas are thriving in Israel.
It depends. There are some that are and some that aren't. There are many that are closing. And a lot of people are learning with extreme poverty. And you're seeing the thousands of people who have to go abroad to be able to live.
They're choosing not to work.
No, they're choosing. Shelley, you basically, the only way you can work is if you go into the army. Right? And the army is not constructed in a way that's conducive for a Ben Torah to develop properly. It's not. It's not. You can't argue that point. It's not. It's not. You have to fight tooth and nail to get maybe up to something. And if you go to the army, it's very rare to see a guy on the level he could be if he wouldn't have to go in the army. If that becomes something you're forced to do, you're forced to compromise your Yiddishkeit, people say, I can't do that, and you can't make a living. So you're living in a country that's got the deck stacked against you. I'm not saying that people shouldn't fight in the army, but you have to make it a frum army. And not just, but there's not Haredi, Kom, barely can squeeze it out. Barely can squeeze it out. And the government makes it almost impossible. You're dealing with a government, I'm saying government. The government hates Torah mitzvahs with a passion. Whenever they have an opportunity to do something against, they try, they can. And whenever they do something, Hashem gives them a smack in the face. And then you have more terrorist problems. The United States is not rodef after people learn Torah to stop them from learning Torah. And that's a big difference. I'm not saying that maybe still no, you should still try to live in Eretz Yisrael. But if a person wants to be able to learn Torah properly, you can learn it a lot easier outside of Eretz Yisrael. That's a fact. And if a person does that, you cannot say it's a person like an idol worshiper. A person lives in a place where it's a bastion of Torah learning, where there's hundreds of thousands of people learning Torah, and you're living a Torah lifestyle. Yes, you still have to be careful not to be influenced by them, fine. But to just out and out say they're like idol worshippers, that's not a fair comment. It's not a fair comment. And if the government in Israel was different, if it was a Torah government, and saying we support the learning of Torah, we're investing major funds in the learning of Torah, we're going to have national welfare for Torah study, it said as it should be, as they do for every other type of secular education.
You don't think there's a lot of money that goes from the government? Not to
religious studies, I'm sorry, to what they call religious, which is not the way it should be. It's to this, a half-baked religious program. Not Haredi program where really Torah is learned in the way it should be learned, in the best possible way. And what does it matter? You make differences. You have to teach this kind of government religion. It's just as bad as Canada not supporting private schools.
They took away money for having children.
They're taking away a lot of benefits. I'm not saying that they may not have legitimate.
People who choose to.
Yeah, but it's much harder. It's much harder. If you want to, after you get married, you want to sit and learn in college. It's easier to support someone here than in Eretz Yisrael.
But why should
you want to live in Eretz Yisrael? You have to have an apartment. I don't know. You have to buy an apartment. You can't rent. Here in Canada, you can rent. Finished. There's lots of apartments you can rent. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but it is much more difficult to be able to learn Eretz Yisrael, and a lot of people, frankly, can't do it. And so a lot of the shidduchim problems. I want to live in Eretz Yisrael. The guy says, the girl's got to support me. Support me is going to cost X amount. Well, they don't have the money to support such a guy. It's very, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, from this chazal, all you can bring out is a person who's living in Eretz Yisrael with a Torah government, now leaves to go to a place that is totally secular. That's like a person worshiping idols. That is true. But again, the Gemara, now there's more to talk about, and we'll have to, we're not certainly denying that there is certainly a tremendous virtue in living Eretz Yisrael over living outside of Chutz La'aretz, no question about it. But then the question becomes, if you feel that your Torah learning is going to be compromised, then there becomes an issue of priorities. And I would certainly say that when the day comes when it's a Torah government, then you're going to be very hard pressed to stay in Chutz La'aretz. You're going to be very hard pressed to stay in Chutz La'aretz. Okay, we'll continue. There's left to bring the Ben Yoyada's commentary and a few more.